All right, let's just dive right into it. Today, in this explainer, we're taking a virtual drive through one of the most fundamental, yet honestly frequently misunderstood systems in all of European driving. We're going to completely demystify Norwegian traffic laws, specifically the absolute cornerstone of their whole system, the rule of the right. Now, whether you're gearing up for the Statens Vegvosen theory exam, or you're just a focused learner who loves geeking out over how different countries engineer road safety, you are in the perfect place. So buckle up because we're going to break this down step by step and make you an absolute expert. Okay, picture this. You're behind the wheel, cruising down a quiet, snowy Norwegian street. You roll up to an intersection right as another car pulls up from a side street. There are no traffic lights, no stop signs, nothing. So, who goes first? Guessing wrong here completely disrupts the flow of traffic, or worse, boom, you've got a fender bender. Knowing the exact answer to this question without a single shadow of a doubt is the ultimate secret to predictable, safe driving in Norway.
So here is our roadmap for today. Number 1, the golden traffic rule. 2, spotting unregulated intersections. 3, priority roads and signs. 4, the major exceptions. And 5, passing the theory test.
Let's start with Section 1, the golden traffic rule, yielding to the right. What's truly fascinating here is how universal this definition is. The rule of the right simply states that in any intersection lacking specific signs or signals, you must yield to all vehicles approaching from your right side. That's it. The responsibility is entirely on you if there's a vehicle to your right. You have to slow down or completely stop and let them pass. And listen, this applies equally across the board to all motor vehicles. It literally doesn't matter if you're in a tiny little compact car and the vehicle on your right is a massive heavy truck or some super fast motorcycle. The right side is the priority side, period. It's actually a brilliant system because it creates this beautifully predictable flow of traffic without the city having to install expensive traffic lights at every single residential corner.
Now, you might be wondering, what if I'm turning? Well, the crucial point is that this rule doesn't just apply to cars driving perfectly straight. Think about crossing paths. Let's say you're turning left at one of these unregulated intersections, and a vehicle is coming from your right. Even if they're also turning or if they're going straight, their path crosses yours, and that means they have the right of way. The vehicle on the right always dictates the flow of traffic in these zones. It's like a strict mathematical geometry of the road.
Moving on to Section 2, spotting unregulated intersections, where the rule lives.
Okay, so knowing the rule is one thing, but you have to be able to instantly recognize when you're actually in a zone where the rule applies. You'll see these a lot in Zone 30 or Zone 40 residential areas. And this brilliantly illustrates a massive trap for beginners. Just look at this comparison for a second. On the left, we've got a wide, beautifully paved, main-looking road. On the right, a narrow, almost hidden side road. A super common rookie mistake is assuming that the main-looking road automatically has priority just because it's bigger. Well, spoiler alert, in Norway, physical size or road width does not determine priority at all. A massive, wide road might still have to slam on the brakes and yield to a tiny side road if that side road is entering from the right and there are no signs. Never ever let the visual illusion of a wide road trick you into thinking you have the right of way.
Because ultimately, it's the pure lack of signage that triggers the right side rule. You are actively scanning for an absence of information. If you look at the corners of an intersection and you see absolutely nothing, no yield triangles, no stop signs, no yellow diamonds, then boom, the right side rule is officially in effect. It is the default operating system of the Norwegian road.
All right, Section 3, priority roads and signs, when the rule dies.
Now imagine applying the right side rule on a busy through street. It would cause massive traffic jams, right? So for those roads, the rule is officially suspended. But to navigate these faster roads, you absolutely need to memorize these priority anchors. First up is the Forkursvei sign. That's the yellow diamond with a white border. When you pass this sign, you're the king of the road. You have the right of way over all side roads, whether they're on your left or your right. The rule of the right is totally suspended for you. Drivers on those side roads are going to see our second anchor, the upside-down give-way triangle, or maybe a stop sign, which means they have to wait for you. And you keep this VIP priority status until you spot the third anchor, the yellow diamond with a black diagonal stripe. That means end of priority. The second you see that stripe, the party's over, and you are right back to the golden rule of yielding to the right.
Just a quick reality check on practical application though. When you're on a priority road, your goal is to maintain a consistent speed and flow. You definitely don't need to brake for every single side road on your right. However, having the legal right-of-way does not wrap your car in a magical, invisible force field, even if you're driving a flashy sports car. Maintain your speed, but drive defensively. You always have to remain observant for drivers on side roads who might fail to yield or, just make an honest mistake. Which brings us to Section 4, the major exceptions. Expect the unexpected.
We've established the rule and we've covered the signs that cancel the rule out, but now we've got to talk about the curveballs. These are the highly tested, super specific scenarios where the right-way rule is just completely thrown out the window, even in unregulated areas. We call this a total duty to yield. If you're doing anything on this list, you yield to absolutely everyone, regardless of whether they're on your left or your right. Exiting a parking lot, a gas station, or a private driveway, you yield. Why? Because you're entering a public road from a non-public area. Crossing a sidewalk or driving out of a pedestrian-only zone like a Gogata, you have to yield to all vehicles and pedestrians before merging. And of course, it goes without saying, any emergency vehicle with blue flashing lights gets immediate priority. You pull over and stop no matter what direction they are coming from. Oh, and there is one massive spotlight exception we have to cover, especially if you ever plan on driving in a city like Oslo. Ready? Trams almost always have the right of way, even if they are coming from your left. I mean, just think about the physics here. Trams are incredibly heavy, they are bound to literal steel rails, and they physically cannot steer to avoid an obstacle. Because of that, the law grants them ultimate priority in almost all urban scenarios. Never, ever assume the rule of the right gives you priority over a tram unless a very specific traffic light is telling you otherwise. Finally, let's hit Section 5, passing the theory test, the ultimate checklist.
All right, this is the practical payoff. The Statens Vegvesen theory exam is kind of notorious for showing you these complex images of intersections with 3 or 4 cars, and they ask you exactly who moves first, second, and third. It can feel like a giant puzzle, but here is the secret. Use this exact 4-step mental checklist. When you look at an intersection image, do not panic. Just do a systematic look-through. Step 1. Look for signs. Do you see a yellow diamond? If yes, the car on that road goes first. Step 2. Look for the give way triangle. Is it in front of you or is it in front of another car? Whoever has it waits. Step 3. Identify the road type. Is a car coming out of a parking lot, a gas station, or maybe a dirt forest path? If so, they have a total duty to yield to everyone else. And finally, Step 4. If you've gone through those first 3 steps and found no signs and only standard public roads, then and only then do you apply the right side rule. The vehicle with nothing on its right goes first. If you memorize this checklist, I guarantee you'll decode those multi-car images absolutely flawlessly.
Now, out in the real world, applying this rule safely requires a little bit of communication. You got to show your intention early. If you see a car on your right in an unregulated zone, start slowing down well before the intersection. This is essentially the body language of your vehicle, and it clearly signals to the other driver, hey, I see you and I'm yielding. It prevents what we call hesitation accidents, which is that awkward dance where both drivers awkwardly stop and then both try to hit the gas at the exact same time. Be clear, be deliberate, and communicate with your speed. And since communication is key, that brings us to our final question for you today. Do you have that mental checklist memorized for your next drive? Next time you're sitting in the passenger seat or out on the road yourself, I challenge you to actively scan for those Zone 30 areas. Look for the absence of signs. Just watch how the traffic flows so naturally when everyone respects the driver on the right. Mastering this doesn't just help you ace an exam, it literally turns you into a highly predictable, safe, and defensive driver. Keep that checklist sharp, trust the rules of the road, and keep learning. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.